Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Plastic Hearts Podcast, the show where we break down the video game news of the week so you don't have to. My name is Fonzie. I'm joined by my co-host, Gavin Jones, indie game dev extraordinaire. Gavin, how are you?
Yeah, stop calling me that.
I will not stop.
I'm good. You enjoy your
Nice.
week so far? Almost done? Like a
Almost
short week?
done.
Well, I guess not short for you. You worked Monday.
I worked Monday, yeah. Just a normal schlub out there, working the mines or whatever kind of industrial job covered in soot. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's been a good week. Nothing really crazy been going on.
Yeah.
I am stoked for Godzilla opens this week, and I cannot wait to
really
watch
hope
it.
it's good. It is kind of weird that, isn't this like the third Godzilla relaunch we've had in a row?
Well, it's not a relaunch; it's a sequel to the last one. So, but that last one was the second American relaunch because there was that Godzilla 2000 that came out a while ago, or 1999. You know, the one with P. Diddy's doing the music video where it's got Godzilla
This
behind
one
him.
was a sequel to the last one?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I'm 100% sure. Yeah, it's continuing the storyline because eventually they're merging King Kong with it too. Like they're existing in the same universe now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really make sense, and I saw, mainly I didn't think about it until a webcomic I saw it for the other day. It was like, Godzilla is, bigger than the Empire State Building.
He's very big in this series, though, this reboot kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah, and King Kong can hang off the top of the...
Yeah.
He's not
He's
that
gonna
big,
go doink
really.
and just, flick him away, but, yeah.
Yeah.
They'll figure it out. And they did make King Kong in that last movie a little bit bigger than usual.
Oh,
he's
Skull
still-
Island? Yeah, he was pretty big.
That's
Man, I
the
wish that
merchant.
movie didn't suck.
I didn't mind it. Did you hate it?
I thought it was really, really good up until John C. Reilly, who I love, came in and Jar Jar Binks the whole fucking thing.
Okay, see, we're different minds where I actually liked that part, but we're just different
It's
souls.
the worst. It was handling its seriousness very well. There were a few moments of levity, but they weren't too much, and then it just went to...
Yeah. I see what you mean. I enjoyed it, though. I enjoyed that part.
So
You know, that guy's doing the Metal Gear movie, that director.
Who is?
Of King Kong, that last one, the movie we were talking about, he's directing the next Metal Gear Solid movie.
There was a Metal Gear Solid movie?
there will
that
be one.
wasn't a porn?
No, they announced they're working on one. He's the guy they're working on.
Solid Snake.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure that's already been done. But yeah, I'll look him up. Which I'm actually stoked because he's a cool dude. Like I've listened to him in interviews. I forget his name. But yeah, so they announced that there's a Metal Gear Solid movie. He's the one directing it. It's yet to come out. They might be in pre-production. I don't think they announced who's playing Solid Snake, but yeah. So Jordan Vout Roberts.
Yeah.
It's like a cool hipster dude. Yeah. He filmed
I got some beard envy on that, man. Holy
no, that's a legit
shit.
beard. Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, so he's directing it for Sony Pictures. No idea on when that's coming out, but yeah.
He's gotta have his assistants gotta carry his beard in front of him like people would used to carry veils.
Yeah.
My God.
But yeah. Anyways, I just remembered he's directing that. But I don't know. I like that because that was kind of a different movie in general, right?
Yeah.
So I like that he's a different kind of director. They're letting him take over that and create a franchise, hopefully, and make it weird because that's a weird, series of games for sure.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I mean, yeah, it has to be weird. I mean, it's weird that Kojima isn't doing it because,
he's basically directed the movie anyways. Like those
yeah,
games
you
were
play the game. It's basically a
basically
movie.
a movie. It's like half cutscenes,
Yeah.
if not more. But yeah.
Depending on some of them, man, it's up there. That does remind me, by the way, so because it made me think of John C. Reilly. So I remember, I think I told you I wanted to go see Sherlock and Holmes.
Oh yeah.
Without reading any reviews. I just wanted to go in innocently, make up my own mind, and I thought it was like one of the worst movies I'd ever seen.
Right.
And I never checked the reviews until last night. I stumbled upon a review for it. I'm like, oh, good. Everyone else thought it was garbage. I don't know how it got to 9% on Rotten Tomatoes. That is a high number.
Too high. Well, I think anything below that, they just don't provide a movie, right? Like what's zero? I do. Yeah, I remember hearing that just outside looking in, and I know he'd watched it, and yeah, it got notoriously bad reviews.
Oh, I was actually mad watching it with how bad it was, and the money they had to throw at it for just that cast. And I had one joke in the entire thing that I liked.
So an 11% Rotten Tomatoes, apparently.
11.
Maybe it improved after people rewatched it. I'm not sure.
Metacritic the 24.
That might have been before because people now review bomb stuff. So I don't know if that's in the.
I doubt it for this. I mean, it's got people love Will Ferrell. People love John C. Reilly.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see that like watching it again because when I first watched Anchorman, I hated it. And then I watched it again. I laughed like the entire time, didn't stop.
The second one?
First one.
Okay. I still love the first one, like every time I rewatch it, but it's the second one I've yet to actually watch it because I hear it's like not bad, but like just kind of rehashing the same jokes and stuff.
I could see that. It still blows my mind with Anchorman that if you watch the deleted scene, there's like an hour and a half worth of deleted scenes.
Right.
Like, what were you guys doing?
Yeah, they just film, go, okay, we got it. Now just kind of go for it every scene.
Yeah. Anyway, video games.
Yeah, well, we touched on that Metal Gear Solid movie. There was a bunch of news with Death Stranding over the week. So they basically officially gave us a release date and showed off another trailer that doesn't reveal any new information, but it's
for Death Stranding. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, we should watch it.
So as someone who doesn't want to know anything more about the game, is this not going to tell me anything more about the game?
No.
Okay, I might as well watch it.
No, it shows you stuff, but it's almost like because it shows so much just nonsense, it almost erases what you're watching in your brain. It's just because it's bombarding you with stuff, whether it's real or not. There was some with the trailer. They did go into detail a little bit on like what you're actually doing, because that was a lot of people's curiosity. It's like, okay, what is this game actually about? What do you do? Right. But they show the main character kind of traversing the world. There's humans that will battle you for your package that you're trying to move across whatever map, whatever distance.
Interesting. So there is combat.
There's combat, yeah. They showed in the trailer the main character, I forget his name, the actor who plays him, but he's actually punching. There's like a melee combat mechanism. There is a shooting involved for these weird, at least these like flashback scenes. That's where it's hard to tell with this game what's happening in reality and what's like not really happening, or a flashback or something. Then there's the whole like supernatural goopy monsters that come out of nowhere. Then there are like trans-dimensional monsters. Yeah. It's nuts, and there's like people with cool gold outfits every once in a while.
I saw that's one of the pre-order bonuses.
Yeah,
you get yourself a gold.
I was going to touch on that too. So on Tuesday, after we played some Extermination at my house, I went on PSN because I'll do this all the time where I have a backlog of games I need to play. But rather than do that, I'll go to the PSN store and see what else I can buy to further like extend that. So I loaded up, and what came up was this. Was the image of like these pre-order bonuses for Death Stranding. And I thought that's interesting. That's cool. I haven't like heard any of these, but it's dope. I took a picture and then just uploaded it or tweeted out to Wario64. That's just a cool Twitter page that like shows or always tweets a bunch of like video game deals and sometimes news. Yeah. And they picked it up. I guess they weren't aware of that either. So they tweeted it and kind of blew up. Tiny spark blew up the internet just because it was showing that this is maybe more of a sooner reality than we thought with this game coming out. And
when is the release date?
So the release date in that trailer they confirmed is November 8th. So it's this year, November 8th. Which is pretty nuts, right? Because this is the game we thought would never come out, if at all, but like 2020, 2021 is when we're kind of talking about this.
I didn't think 2021. I thought we were talking about Cyberpunk for 2021.
That's one that I could see, further down the road. I guess initially when people started talking about when this was revealed and it's a Kojima game, they go, oh, okay, he just takes super long with these games. This will be far out.
Yeah, he always has.
Right, and so this is a quick turnaround. So I kind of pulled up some actual dates for him when he was working on this. So it's confirmed, who knows if it'll be pushed back, but confirmed for November 8th this year. It was announced in E3 2016. So that's what, we're coming on E3 2019, so that's 3 years from them announcing it to actually putting it out there. To put that into context, so Final Fantasy VII, the remake, was announced at E3 2015. And we've yet to see anything on that game.
Wow.
But yeah. So they were able to make a game, put it out before anything Final Fantasy related has come to fruition. But yeah.
So my question then is going to be with this. So he's using the whatchamacallit engine.
It's like Decima engine. It's a Guerrilla Games engine that he's then tailoring for whatever he needs to make it for. And they've done Horizon, Zero Dawn,
which
and
was
the Killzone
huge
games. Yeah, and so I think because they had that open world kind of set up already, he can plug in his assets, create new assets, that kind of thing. But the gameplay looks very much like the last Metal Gear. Like I don't know who he took from his original team, how that worked, but they're able to kind of give off this vibe that's very Metal Gear. There's a point where you're hiding from these humans, and they have this alert sound that goes off that's very much like the Metal Gear alert sound, but like twisted, so it's still different. That was cool.
Had to do it.
Right. But then when he gets caught, it's funny. Oh, Norman Reedus is the actor. When he gets found out by the humans, he just kind of runs. Like, I don't know what you can really do to get away from these people. He's just running. And like at not very fast speed, but he also has this huge package on his back. So they're just kind of like, he's running in circles, just trying to like dodge him and stuff. There's a bike you can use.
Played a lot of not Left 4 Dead.
Last of Us or
maybe
zombie related.
What's the
Days
one
Gone?
where it's multiplayer and it's like a murder versus.
Oh yeah, like not the Freddy, but the Jason
Freddy's
one?
in it. He's in one of the characters in it. Jason's one of the characters in it.
Is there Death something? Death Stranding? No, that's it's something Death, right?
This is gonna kill me. I would know it if I didn't need it right this second.
I know what you're talking about. I forget the name of that too.
Yeah, I mean that's what when you actually watch people that are good at playing it, like that's what they do is they just run around circles around the killer while everyone else on the map gets stuff done.
Gotcha. That's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean that was a huge deal for them to kind of announce that, and the fact that it's happening this year too. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I'm pretty stoked. To see that.
Dead by Daylight.
There you go. Yeah, I know there was a dead thing in that.
That's crazy.
So there wasn't really a news article to pull up from that, but I did pull up from Kotaku's Jason Schreier. He reiterates on the fact that he confirms that sure enough that Death Stranding is coming out November 8th. This is before the reveal. But also, he has some insight on The Last of Us 2. We kind of talked about that last time. So he mentions that he's heard that The Last of Us 2 was planned for a 2019 release, but he recently heard from a person familiar with goings-on at Sony.
Who said this?
This is Jason Schreier.
Oh, okay. I was like, why the fuck is Kojima spoiling somebody else's?
I don't know, but I heard Last of Us 2 is not ready. No, yeah. So Jason Schreier of Kotaku, who leaks stuff all the time, and he's a really well-known.
He's the leak guy. Used to be a plumber. Terrible. Got fired. Hired at Kotaku.
Someone's leaking more than when it started. But he's
he only plumbed with drills.
Yeah. So, anyways, he just kind of, it's a little blurb. He says The Last of Us 2 he was hearing that it was 2019 release date planned, but it's actually been pushed back to early 2020, likely February. And Ghost of Tsushima will follow in the next few months, with the PlayStation 5 likely launching next fall. These are rumors tied to that Death Stranding announcement. But anyways, it just kind of puts that into context because they have a couple of exclusives coming out pretty soon.
Sure.
But yeah. So some of these games coming out sooner than we thought.
That's surprising. This is gonna be a cool game. It's gonna be really. It is strange to me though that Kojima takes so long to make these games, and now that we have Kojima off the leash, he's made it faster than ever.
Like, it's very strange. You're right. It's very strange,
and it does make me wonder. Like, maybe this will be shorter, which is okay because I imagine short for a Kojima game is still at least 8 hours.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with him kind of dialing it back a little bit so that we can actually finish this in a normal amount of time. Like, I don't need this huge, crazy, epic thing he does, which I like those, but then it does mean that they go further out. At the same time, that brings me to a thought where it's like, I don't know if I really needed this that soon. I was fine with it going maybe a year from now, that kind of thing. But I'm not mad at it,
Well, it's also a good time for it. They're going to be out in time for Christmas.
Right.
This is going to be the big Christmas game. This is going to be, which also makes me wonder about, I'd be curious then about the maturity of it. Because if you are going for a Christmas launch, you're going for mom, dad, grandma, grandpa buying games for the kids. What's this going to be rated?
I haven't seen any info on that yet. I think the last Metal Gears I don't think they were M. I really don't. Like, at least
I think they were M.
Were they? I'm going to...
He swears and looks at titties a lot.
I think they can still get away with the teen, though, with that kind of thing. So was it Metal Gear 5? Was the last one he worked on? Yeah.
Yeah, I think Metal Gear 5.
So 2015, yeah.
I mean, there's I'm not sure it counts as spoilers for a game that's this old. Metal Gear Solid 4, there was a scene at the end that was like a war crime.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah.
How would I Google this thing? I'm sure I can find what's the ESRB? Yeah.
There you go. ESRB. Get a better website.
So it was him. You're right.
So, I mean, but this isn't Metal Gear Solid, so he's no longer tied to that.
This isn't, but it's very similar kind of things happening.
Yeah.
At least in that last trailer, to where I don't know. I pulled up the Metal Gear Solid V, Phantom Pain. Some of the flags on that getting it a mature rating was blood and gore, intense violence, sexual themes, strong language. I could see the same things with the new game, but maybe no sexual themes. I don't know. I don't know what constitutes that as far as the ESRB goes. But I would say it's not impossible for them to do an M. But although is their target audience the general public? Because these games are so like his other previous games are so weird. It's like he kind of makes a niche thing on his own, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's a friggin' artist with a budget. Yeah. Like, I don't. So I really don't know. I don't see himself limiting himself.
Right.
But yeah, the only thing that just makes me think that is it's so damn close to Christmas. So that'll be.
I wonder too the deal with Sony, because they locked him in pretty quickly after he left. Is it not Kojima? The previous developer he was locked in with had a bad relationship with, Konami. When he left them, they locked him down pretty quickly and seemed to give him a blank check, just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But I imagine, like, is there a reality where it's like, okay, we want to give you this huge budget, but we do need a date in mind,
Yeah, and that absolutely could be. That's such a perfect get for Sony, because they've been wanting Kojima for as long as he's been on the scene.
I'm sure.
That is.
I mean, some of those earlier games, the Metal Gear games, I don't know if they were PS exclusive, like PlayStation exclusive, but they launched there. They certainly became popular on the early PlayStation consoles. But
yeah, I know Metal Gear Solid 1 was, I think 2 came to Xbox, I think. I don't know. It's a very confusing timeline that I don't know very well.
Eventually there's like GameCube and Xbox, you're right, where they all kind of split off. But Gavin, I know you're also a big Ghostbusters fan, right? So did you ever play the 2009 Ghostbusters?
I started to. I didn't like the PC controls very much. I should have played with controller, because it's rough playing with, because you got to drag it. So I'm like constantly moving my mouse
for your like Proton thing.
Because you're dragging the Ghost. So it'd be better if I played with and I don't think I had a controller for my PC at the time. So I'm like and it's just annoying. Whereas with a stick, you can just hold a direction.
Yeah,
it's like I should have played it with a stick. So I am excited for this. I think it's gonna be cool.
So it's a remaster, HD or actually 4K remaster of that Ghostbusters the video game, in which it was like a Ghostbusters 3 basically, because it had all the voice actors.
It was the plot. They had decided, since there was never going to be a Ghostbusters 3, that they just said, okay, put the plot in this one. They tweaked it a little bit so that they could have a character for the player.
Yeah,
because they didn't want you playing as any of the characters. They didn't like that idea.
Gotcha.
I forget the reasoning, but it was really good. And it also allows them to introduce the world to new players and little things at a time.
So you are a fourth Ghostbuster in that game? Or you're just
fifth
like
Ghostbuster.
Okay. Oh yeah, fifth.
Yeah.
Is there? Okay. I guess there is four.
Yeah.
That's how limited my knowledge is. I remember the green Slimer guy. I think I had undies as a kid with the green Slimer guy. That was about it. That's all I knew about Ghostbusters. But
so that's exciting. It's supposed to be like, it's not supposed to be great, but it's supposed to be pretty good.
No, it was. I remember it being well received, but then just kind of like disappeared and just kind of went back into the ether. But yeah,
well, single player, no real. It may have had I think it had some basketball multiplayer, but that's
okay.
When you have no multiplayer and you're a shooter game, like, people play you and you're done.
So it's due out sometime in 2019 is some of the details on it. PS4, Xbox One, Switch apparently too, and PC via the Epic Games Store. Pulled up a Game Informer article from Matthew Cato. So the remaster features cutscenes and in-game video and 4K, as well as improved textures and lighting. This augments a story that takes place after the second movie, written by Dan Aykroyd, just like you were saying. Yeah. So we'll keep an eye. So I mean, 2019. So we just got a couple of months, maybe holiday season. I'll be interested to see how you feel about playing that again.
The only weird thing, and I heard people say about this, so maybe it tainted me coming in, was Bill Murray's performance. It's almost like Bill Murray doing a bad impression of his character from the movie, which was a little disappointing.
Was it? I guess I might be crossing the streams on my mind of the last Ghostbusters movie where Bill Murray was in it, but it was like a half-ass, like he didn't want to be there kind of performance. But was it that same kind of thing in the game, or it was just like an intentional weird portrayal?
Well, he had the final say on everything in the game. That was his thing for signing on to do the game, is he had the final word. So no, I don't think he would have done that on purpose.
Gotcha. But in that movie, the last one, it seems like he didn't want to be a part of that, right?
I imagine he wanted to be a part.
Okay.
I don't know though.
I just remember hearing from you, someone else, the performance in that movie was like either too quick or just like you can tell he's just in there and then he's out of the last reboot movie that they did.
I mean, they all just had their quick cameos.
I see.
So.
I never watched that either. But
Oh, you didn't? Yeah,
No.
it was a movie.
Yeah, I just kind of, I'm sure if it's on one day and I like happen to wake up and it's on, I'll watch it and then I'll go, I need it to be like ready to go.
It was just very frustrating with all the controversy around it because it was like people were
Yeah, that was
hating
weird.
it because but people were like, oh, but you should like it. And then it finally came out and it was just okay.
Right.
So it was
Yeah, but it was like overhyped for some weird reason, the negative backlash of having all chick cast. But
So all that energy for nothing.
Right.
Really too bad.
Yep. So we'll see that Ghostbusters game that comes out. There was also a huge hoopla with the new Call of Duty. There was a stream today where they officially announced the game and showed off some footage.
I haven't seen the new footage for it.
The footage is dope. So they're using a new engine apparently, and it's pretty realistic looking as far as those games usually go. But yeah,
it's still, when you say realistic, it just makes me think of, I remember when this trailer was announced and we were hanging out in your place, like on the third floor or whatever.
Oh, okay, yeah, one of my old apartments.
Yeah, and we watched this trailer like 20 times.
Was it for the first Modern Warfare, right? They're like technically
the first
4,
Modern
but
Warfare, and like the scene where you're like in the ghillie suits. I kept rewatching that. It's just like, look, he disappears in the. Oh, he's back. Where'd he come from? And we were like, this is as real as it gets, dude. This is amazing.
Just stop here, man. Like this is it.
Oh man, mind's blown.
So we could let's capture this footage. We'll show you this trailer. It's pretty dope.
Teens
some
react.
sound
Can
here.
we say that? Cut that out.
I don't know what you said, what racist nonsense you just said right now, but whoops.
There's a fine line between right and wrong.
Captain.
And somewhere,
It's gonna stitch this in.
they send us in to find them.
And this is that same British
God, that looks so
guy.
much better with the deferred lighting on this cigar. Ooh.
Whoops. Sorry. Oh, jeez. Well, never mind about that. Yeah, so apparently there's like new motion capture stuff for the facial animations.
That looked different. Oh, maybe it wasn't. This looks different from how I remember this game.
Well, it's also not a legit reboot. It's a soft reboot, so it's like going back to those same themes, but not like erasing what happened story-wise in those games. October 25th is also the release date for that.
This year?
Yeah.
That's very soon.
Yep. So we got it coming out this year. So I pulled up some details on it. What's interesting too is part of their announcements, they're targeting crossplay with PC and console. Yeah. So I mean, it's pretty pretty huge.
You can select not to do that.
Well, right. So here's where it's interesting is because they were kind of releasing in their news release about it that they're working for crossplay across PC and console. So now that's singular. So it's not PS4, Xbox with each other. It's PC and console playing together. Which you're right. There's an advantage. You wouldn't want that, but a lot of people are trying to dig into that. Does that mean we'll get PS4 and Xbox like consoles playing together, or it's just consoles against or with Xbox crossplay?
Man, that'll be cool. The only thing I could see a disadvantage of that because something my roommate complains about is I guess you can hook up a mouse and keyboard to the PlayStation.
I think both of them now have that same support. Yeah.
Oh, do they?
Mhm. No one does that, or who's doing that? I don't know.
I don't know. Apparently, every single person he plays against in multiplayer, because he's calling
I'm sure
bullshit on your ass.
Right. I'm sure he's saying that just like my nephew claims everyone's using aimbot or whatever the fuck they use.
But I mean, if you can at least get Xbox and PlayStation to play together, I mean, you barely had to wait to play a match during matchmaking with Call of Duty anyway. Those
Gotcha.
match times were so lightning quick.
Mm.
So you do this, it's going to be even quicker. And if you actually do allow for PC, I think the only natural progression is much like Fortnite. When do we get in phones?
Interesting. Well, they do have a different developer working on some kind of Call of Duty Online. I don't have that pulled up, but I remember them talking about it. And it's live. It's somewhere. I want to say it's like focused in China, possibly, but it's like Call of Duty Online.
Oh yeah.
So they are
I
working
think that's
for
a
this on
different
mobile.
entity, though.
Okay, right, gotcha.
Yeah.
So-
Oh god, Call of Duty Mobile. That just makes me think of the terrible Call of Duty DS games.
Oh yikes!
That
Yeah,
I'd like to think they were doing the best they could,
gotcha.
but I feel like they probably could.
They're always limited on the hardware, and it was just kind of like a weird bastardized version of Call of
Yeah.
Duty.
And the original DS was like pretty limited. Like the fact that the Metroid game for the DS looked as good as it was like astounding.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know there's a Call of Duty Mobile, so it is active. It's on where so it is on phones. Just in is it in this country? I want to say it is.
Is it?
Yeah,
Register now. Free to play.
yeah. So it's free to play. I think it maybe just has the Black Ops mode, maybe possibly
It looks
multiplayer.
good.
Yeah, at least on this little cutscene that we're watching. But yeah,
Well.
so they are actively tackling that aspect of it too. But another thing they announced with this new Call of Duty, they're getting rid of the season pass model. So all the DLC will just be
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, because I feel like they jumped on that bandwagon before a lot of people.
Yep. And so now they did make, was it 2 years ago? They kind of made a new deal with, because they originally with Xbox, as far as like when DLC would launch, it would go there first. But then they
Yeah.
made a new one with Sony.
Mhm.
So does that mean that goes away, or does that change? I'm not sure. But so they will do away with the traditional Call of Duty Modern Warfare Season Pass model to prevent specific content from dividing players and by extension interfering with crossplay. So just to make it a little bit easier.
I can't believe they make money hand over fist with that.
They do.
And I don't feel like Call of Duty players were really complaining.
No, I think they got used to that. So there must be another advantage by dropping that. Maybe there's just more options in their marketplace to buy, cosmetic stuff. I don't know. Maybe they're seeing what
Maybe.
Fortnite does, how there's less restriction on Fortnite players with the new content. Does that bring them in more revenue because of that? So maybe they're seeing that. But you're right. There's got to be a dollar reason for why they're getting rid of that, because there's no sense for that.
I mean, and it's weird because like cosmetics would feel somewhat out of place. Like they do them in that game, but it's not like you wouldn't have like Fortnite style skins in there. That'd be fucking
You wouldn't.
annoying.
Yeah, but like people will trick out their guns and
Yeah,
stuff,
which
and
is
that's a
cool.
huge thing. Yeah, so like weird like emotes and taglines. I know with the last Blackout, there's a lot of those where you could drop like little
Yeah.
graffiti stuff and that kind of thing.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Well, yeah, so they don't complain about it, but they're still getting rid of it, which is, I guess, cool.
Yeah.
Didn't see that coming. And it's
cool
very,
for players.
It's very un-Activision of them. That is very un-Activision. And they really can't be going to loot boxes right now because, like, the wheels are in motion to outlaw fucking loot boxes.
You're right. They're really demonized, and so and countries are, and now here in U.S. too, they're really like gearing towards, just like
Yeah.
you're saying, limiting those. So, no, yeah, you're right. There's got to be, and so yeah, there's a reason behind that. I'm sure that we're not seeing. There's a financial reason. Otherwise, they would not get rid of that, because just to be cool and fun, like your hip, stepdad or something. There's a
Yeah.
reason why they're getting rid of that. So I think they plan to make money somewhere else. But
So no battle royale mode, as far as we know.
they haven't said that yet. They do have a pretty beefed up single player mode, and so apparently they got two directors from Naughty Dog. So and they're working on this actual single player mode. So and some of the press has gotten. You should check it out too when you get a chance. Some of the press has gotten a chance to go through and play the single player game or modes of the single player game, and they're kind of coming back with really positive views on the fact that it's like a more intense adult single player that's focusing on the grayness of of war and what these soldiers are doing. But yeah, you should check that out for sure.
Wow. And do we know which Call of Duty developer it is?
Good question. So this is Infinity Ward. I think this is the last time they're handling this, because the next one goes to whatever that whole handoff was. It got
Who
kind of
did
confusing.
World at War is my next question.
Gotcha. Let's check it out.
Because that was the only one I've seen like taking a gritty plot line
Yeah.
and do fucking hula hoops with it. Like it was amazing.
So I
May not have been them.
I think it's a lesser known one. So this Treyarch actually.
Was that who did you just say? Oh, you said Infinity Ward, right?
Yeah, they're doing the newer one.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, still, like those Naughty Dog devs, they know how to storytell. They know how to tell something adult. Like
Right.
especially, I love that. Even though I never finished it, that Uncharted, where it's just saying like Nate has a death wish. He can't stop putting himself into these situations.
Oh, interesting.
the
I forget the
fallout
storyline
of
with that.
Everyone around him based on that.
Well, I know the last one for sure. It's him kind of screwing over his friends and family because he can't like stop that itch.
Yeah.
But it might be. But it's almost like a common theme too in the other ones because he just can't stop looking for treasure and whatnot.
Yeah.
So apparently Treyarch did all of the Black Ops games. No, sorry, they did 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they did World at War. But they were also, that was a news last week that they're taking on the next Black Ops 5 because Raven Studios was working on the next one that was going to take place in the Cold War. But apparently they were kind of dropping the ball on development, so they just handed it over to Treyarch to take over instead. But yeah, this one is still from Infinity Ward, who did, I want to say, Modern or Advanced Warfare too.
I think they did the original Modern Warfare at least.
Gotcha. I will
So-
check that out right now.
That's
Infinity War.
I don't know, man. I find it makes me nervous, like that I'm seeing all these positive signs for this. Like you get good people in, they're gonna try and do an interesting story. Now they may fail, but they're at least trying.
Yeah.
They're getting rid of season pass. This is very un-Activision. This is very un-modern AAA games industry.
It is, and that's you're right. There's some. I wonder why, and I would say that they're just making money somewhere else behind the scenes. But I'm not
Selling
sure.
all your data, recording everything.
Right.
This is why when I say stuff, it shows up in my Facebook ads.
Yeah. So they're doing the new Modern Warfare, which is the name of that reboot. Infinite Warfare. Blah. They did Ghosts, though I know that was really critically panned. And then Modern Warfare 3 and Modern Warfare 2, the original Modern Warfare. Yeah. So they've been some of the original developers for that.
Yeah. It will be weird. It is still strange with the name and the fact that it's like a partial reboot, but not really a reboot. Like,
yeah.
That makes it even muddier.
Mm.
So we'll see.
I think I can still jump in and I know the general idea and I'll just jump in. Maybe it helps. It's more of a benefit for dumber people like me where I just go, oh, it's Call of Duty? Okay, I'll jump on and play it. And I think they trust that a lot of their audience is the same way and will not be so critical on where this takes place and rather like what's happening. I imagine too, them going back to a single player mode will get the fans riled up again because it was just multiplayer in the last one.
Yeah.
But,
When is the last Call of Duty you bought?
I bought the Blackout or Call of Duty Black Ops 4 the last year. I bought that one. And really almost everyone every year. I think Advanced Warfare, I didn't pick that up when it came out. But
I think that was the last one I bought, but I only bought because you could just buy the multiplayer half.
Oh, on PC?
Yeah, so I just
Gotcha.
bought the multiplayer half because it was that was one of those games where if I have trouble getting to sleep, because it's really mindless. If you're like me and I'm not super strategical and I'm not super I'm not trying super hard. I run forward until someone goes in front of my gun and then I pull the trigger and one of us dies.
Yep.
And it's really mindless and it was able to put me asleep.
Interesting
Shut
that
my brain down enough to go to sleep.
Yeah, it's interesting that the horrible violence and gunshots and explosions would help you go to sleep. Like seems like such a crazy.
I'm sorry,
thing
is this
to-
not America? I thought this was
You're right. I
America.
shouldn't even question it. You're right. You should be playing 2 Call of Duty modes at the same time because you're American. Yeah, no. With Blackout, the last one, they had the actual that mode where you drop, that open world where you dropped in and you have to find loot and stuff, looter shooter kind of thing.
Yeah.
With that mode, it was a bit more tense, just like PUBG, just like Fortnite, where because you have to strategize and find ammo, and also you have that one life, you're thinking way more strategically. With the previous multiplayer or traditional multiplayer, because you're back into the match so quickly, you'll just kind of do whatever. It can be mindless. But I know this last one, it did force me to kind of think a bit more, and it was fun because it was more tense because of that. Yeah. All right, again, we got some Call of Duty news that we covered. And I imagine we'll get more info as we get closer to that. Maybe with Xbox's or Microsoft's E3 thing, they'll talk about it. We'll see. We got some Destiny 2 news. Are you still, or were you ever into Destiny, the last one?
I purchased it.
Purchased it, okay.
And then I almost got to the final boss.
Gotcha.
And then the game crashed.
Well, you're still stuck on like PC nonsense where you have drivers and TurboTax or whatever the hell goes on there. Like, why not invest in a console where it's just like there's no drama with that? You know, it just works.
But my PC.
I understand that, but if you have a game that doesn't work or you're staring at the ground trying to get it to load, it's like, why even bother? Like,
but my PC.
Okay, all right, Gavin. Well, anyways, there's some Destiny 2 news. What's interesting is now Bungie's free from is Activision, right? With this, now
self-published, gonna be weird.
Yeah, so this is their first kind of foray into that world without anyone watching over them somewhat, right? So they have this new DLC that they're dropping June 4th. It's called Season of Opulence. But with that announcement, they're also going to talk about the next chapter of Destiny 2. So year 3, or I want to say it's year 3. So what they have planned for the next years coming up. And so, yeah, I just think it's interesting now that they're off the leash and they have kind of more control where they will take that. And it's not them saying, hey, we're working on Destiny 3. It's them saying, hey, we're going to provide content for Destiny 2. Here's what we have planned. But, yeah, it's interesting. So they have an announcement Thursday, June 6th is when they'll talk about it. I think that's still pre-E3. That's like right before E3 starts.
We're going to steal the thunder.
Of who? Of their own thunder?
I don't know. It'll be interesting. I hope it's...
Gavin, you mentioned thunder. What about the god of lightning? How's that transition?
Thor?
Yeah. So there's an Avengers game that was the title was officially released over the week.
That was a good transition.
Right?
That was a good transition. All right.
That's why I get paid $0. So the Avengers project now has official name. It's
by Squeenix,
right? Yeah, Square Enix. It's officially Marvel's Avengers. But yeah, so it's confirmed to be shown at E3 2019. There's official little like new A that they're showing off, just the Avengers A.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we actually have like a date to look forward to with E3. They'll show off the game. How do you feel about it? Are you pretty stoked or just kind of?
I know nothing about it. Like honestly, when I think of it, all I can think of isn't that kind of that one legendary Marvel game or whatever that's coming out for the Switch?
Oh, sure.
But I'm not sure.
Ultimate
that's really,
Alliance?
I guess that's not really the Avengers
This
game?
one seems different. So here's a synopsis from Square Enix. So they say, embrace your powers and join key members of the development team.
Key and Peel.
Nope, this is not an official synopsis. This is
It's not?
No, this is this is from Crystal Dynamics. So this is just this is the tweet they put out. Embrace your powers and join key members of the development team at Crystal Dynamics, the creative team at Marvel Games, as they talk exclusively about the upcoming Marvel's Avengers. So this is them setting up the E3 conference itself. This is the defining Avengers gaming experience, an epic action adventure that combines cinematic storytelling with continuous single-player and cooperative gameplay. So yeah, it looks like assemble in teams of up to 4 players, master extraordinary abilities, customize your heroes to fit your playstyle, and combine powers to defend an ever-expanding world under constant threat. All we can do is kind of pick that apart. Does that mean it's the traditional 4 Avengers, or is there a roster you get to pick from? Looks like there's cooperative gameplay too. There's a continuous single player storytelling aspect to it. Yeah, it's kind of there was that one demo that came out a couple years ago. It was like a shelved Avengers game that was first person. Remember seeing footage from that?
Really? That'd be weird.
Yeah, I doubt it's like that because I imagine that's just harder to pull off in first person. But so Crystal Dynamics, they worked on Tomb Raider and a bunch of other stuff. So I'm sure they can handle it. I just wonder, what is it going to be when you actually play the game? I'm not sure.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I definitely like the fact that it's like, if that wasn't multiplayer and it's an Avengers game, like what's the point?
Yeah, it's a bit weird. You kind of have to nail that for sure.
So hopefully, that could be a really fun. I wonder if they'll allow for like maybe some sort of couch co-op. We don't know what it looks like though, right?
No, they just have the official like Avengers A, and that's it. And I'm sure they're going to show. Apparently, they're going to show off gameplay at E3.
Yeah,
but they have their own press conference too.
Can there be cross-play? Because otherwise, you and I cannot play.
Yeah, so that ties back to the console thing again too, Gavin.
Yeah, I hope it's cross-play. I feel like you want to play this game.
I do. I want to see what it looks like, but I'm interested.
Yeah.
What I found interesting with the Call of Duty news and them focusing on crossplay is I'm hoping that going into this next gen, that's going to be a huge push by console makers, by developers to really try and make that a thing. Because I feel like they're going to figure out that you sell more, you keep a community active, stronger for longer if you have people playing together, no matter what there's no boundaries anymore. PC, PS4, Xbox. If you have people playing, buying stuff in your marketplace, that's what you want, right? So I'm hoping they see that.
Yeah.
But I'm just hoping that's the future that we'll see happen. We're talking about E3. What about let's see, Xbox has some more news for their E3 lineup.
Ooh.
Yeah, so Phil Spencer tweeted today, just finished our final E3 rehearsal here with the team in Redmond. Feel really good about the briefing, lots to show. We have 14 Xbox Game Studios games in the show this year. More first-party games we've ever had in the show. Fun times. Yeah, it's pretty
There was
dope.
a lot of shit last year, and they're throwing out the gauntlet of more?
Yeah, so now this is, last year what was mixed in with that was them announcing, hey, we acquired this, and you get a car, and you get a car.
Yeah, but that was nonstop announcements.
Right.
Like, by the end of it, I was physically exhausted. So you're telling me I'm going from running a half marathon to running a full marathon? That's what you're telling me?
They're saying if you watch the official E3 lineup from Xbox, you get like a little headband, sweatband, and you have your water bottle, and you just have to be ready to go to watch the entire thing.
I know this is a joke what you're saying.
We're like, I got to buy this thing.
But it did take me a second there. I'm just like, really? Because that's great. Where do I sign up for my water bottle and sweatband?
I would take that too. And I would count that as exercising for the day too. So I wanted to pull up some of their actual confirmed studios that they've acquired just to kind of refresh our brain on it. So they have 343, which is obviously doing Halo, right? They have the Coalition, which is doing Gears 5, which they are going to show at E3.
Oh, that's right. It was some sort of weird Microsoft Games. I never really understood that relationship.
Yeah. So we have Playground Games / Turn 10. They both work on the Forza and Forza Horizon titles. There's a rumor with that they might be working on a Fable game. Who knows? They acquired Ninja Theory. It might be and they did Hellblade. It might be too soon.
They acquired Ninja Theory?
Yeah, so that was one of the things last year. I wonder if it's too soon to see anything from them. Maybe they just like have a CG trailer they can show out saying, here's our next game. But yeah, they acquired Ninja Theory. They have Rare, which is Sea of Thieves. They have Compulsion Games, which made We Happy Few. Did you ever check that out?
I did.
It's like a weird, trippy Pink Floyd kind of first-person game.
I never played it once it left early access.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was curious about it, but I never jumped in. I think it's on their Game Pass too. But yeah. Undead Labs they also acquired. They do State of Decay. Mm-hmm. They have Mojang, which is Minecraft, which is like it's insane that they own them. But yeah,
they'll probably show some of that Minecraft Go.
Oh yeah, interesting. Maybe they will. Maybe they'll say, hey, we support. No, they can't support it on Xbox because it's a mobile game. But yeah. I don't know. But
cross contamination.
Yeah, crossplay. There is a Mojang, or actually it's like Mojang, right? It's a proper way to pronounce it. I know it's like a strange way to pronounce that.
Oh, I don't care.
Yeah, so Mojang has a E3 conference too scheduled where they're going to talk about the next.
Mojang low, does it wobble?
Yeah. Anyways, so they have Mojang has a E3 conference where they talk about the next 10 years of Minecraft, but that's separate from
the next 10 years.
Yeah.
And you know it's true too.
Right. Well, they're celebrating 10 years, and I think that's why the tagline is the next 10 years. But yeah. So they have the Initiative, which is that one's interesting. So it was open really recently, but it's a new studio based in Santa Monica, but it's being taglined as a quadruple A studio. So they're going to do some kind of like Naughty Dog style level of game.
Like for quadruple A, like that just makes me think like Cyberpunk, basically.
Sure.
Because name something more like polished and feature rich.
Rockstar, something with like
Rockstar. Throw them in there too.
That's what they're being taglined as, but who knows what they'll actually put out. It's a newly formed studio, but yeah. We have In Exile. They do the Bard's Tale series. I've never played those, but
I want to say those are supposed to be really good, like D&D like games.
Okay,
but I could be wrong. Oh, I think I'm wrong. Pretty sure I'm wrong.
I think I looked up something quickly. It was like a strategy kind of thing, RTS, some kind of like. It was definitely not for me, but I was like, okay, that's cool. But when I was searching this, yeah. They also have Obsidian, who are doing the Outer Worlds, which is that kind of Fallout esque game that's coming out.
Yeah.
Where you can beat someone and change their face. Just like in real life.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Right. So this is just also Microsoft related. They're going to bring Game Pass to PC in some form.
Yeah, wait, I thought it was interesting because that just got announced. I remember last week on the podcast, you're like, is it on PC? I'm like, yeah, it's on PC. Of course it's on PC. Nope, it's not on fucking PC.
I didn't know that. I also assumed the same thing, but yeah.
Yeah, I could swear it was on PC, but apparently not.
It might have been confusing just the fact like that they are now, there was like cross download ability with some of their games that you own. You could also download on PC kind of thing. I know that I had Gears 4 on actual Xbox, and I could see it and I could download it on my Microsoft account on my laptop, but my laptop would die every time I loaded it. But because I owned it, I could cross play with it. But
I can see that. I don't think my PC is gonna be able to run that new Gears.
I'm
Those
sure not.
games
They're always
get
nuts.
Prettier every time.
Yep. Although I find, and we'll see with the next what they show off, and then this next E3. But the last ones they've been coming out, I find I'm less and less engaged in what's going on. It just makes less sense to me, or it's just not interesting to me anymore. Like I'm just kind of what that series started as. It's no longer fun or interesting to me. But.
Well, you started dropping out pretty early on because I remember I can't remember whether it was Gears 2 or 3. I thought it was 2. You were pretty down on like right out the gate, and like me and my buddy Danny were just like, we spent a night, blew through whole thing, like ending when the sun's coming up. We're like, this is the greatest game that's ever come out. Oh my god, this is like art. Like this is fantastic. And I like talk to you about it, and you're like, dude, like it controls like shit. Like, what is this? Give me back the crappy control scheme from the first game.
Interesting. I don't remember that, but it's very possible. And I might have, as I kind of dig through my crappy brain, like I wonder if I was used to that weird snap and click mechanism of the first game. Maybe I liked that. Maybe I got used to that. Yeah. But I do remember playing the second and third. And at least now looking back at it, I feel like I was they were good games, fine games, fun. But maybe at the time I was way more critical. With less intelligence for sure, but yeah,
I do like it. Is always fun. Have you ever watched pro matches of that?
No.
It's really funny to see them play because you get that little magnet sort of snap. And like the first game, you could take stupid amounts of advantage of that. You could launch yourself across something.
Yeah, if you time it right, you really just scoot and lock onto stuff, and or the shotgun, maneuvering the shotgun with that.
Yeah, and so with this new one, like you see these pros really able to whip themselves around the map like that, and the action is so fast. Like you'll see two people murder each other, and you're watching from their perspective, and I'm like, who died? Oh, good, it was the other guy. Like you don't know. There's so much viscera flying around.
Right.
It's pretty fun to watch. The only thing, it's kind of shitty. Like they put the guys really close, and like after matches, they'll instantly get up and start like shit talking to each other, and it just looks like a bunch of fucking like pissed off dogs. They're just it's like, calm the hell down, Jesus Christ, guys.
It's a video game.
Like you just got your virginity back. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, you take the card from him. It's like, I don't know. I'm sorry to tell you this, but yeah. That's interesting. No, I haven't seen that. I'll have to check that out. It's pretty funny.
It's interesting. It's also one of those ones that it's interesting that it's more popular and like you look at a game like FIFA and it's way more popular in Europe. Like Gears of War is shockingly popular in Mexico.
Oh, really?
And I don't know why that is.
Oh.
I have no clue what about Gears of War resonates more in Mexico than it does in America, at least on esports level.
It just clicked with the Mexican audience. Interesting.
I guess.
Yeah. There is a Spanish or Mexican character. It's not Dom. That's the main guy.
No, wait.
Sergio Santiago, something like that. But I don't know if that's the leeway into that. But I'm not gonna look it up. Anyways, he's the other dude.
Santiago? Was it
something
Santiago?
like that?
It may have been Santiago.
I do miss the over testosterone masculine to the top games. I do miss that, just that whole spectrum
Rage
of games.
Just came out.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. I didn't put that together, but yeah, there was a time where you had these like just roided up characters where it was just fun. Yeah. But So with that Game Pass coming to PC, not a lot of other details. Just Phil Spencer's talking about it. They're looking to bring that over, and to what capacity, they're not sure yet. But I guess the Microsoft, so Phil Spencer, he's the Microsoft's EVP of gaming and head of Xbox. He admitted that the software giant has not always lived up to our aspiration when it comes to meeting player needs on PC. It would be taking steps to improve the gaming experience on Windows. So yeah, it's just I did watch yesterday too. That reminds me of the developers over who are doing the Halo port to PC with with Reach and whatnot. They had a live stream and they talked about it and answered a lot of questions, which was really cool. They're really open about it, but they're just showing off gameplay on PC and talking about their projected support for it. But yeah,
That's exciting news.
very exciting. I can't keep my pants on. I'm so
Maybe
excited.
I'll finally beat a Halo game.
Have you never beat them?
No.
Mm.
The first one actually legitimately, like, there are multiple times where, like, I'd try and beat the first one and I'd get, like, bored at this part or I get bored at the next part. Like, the first one, surprisingly, which was so weird because no one else felt that way.
Yeah, no, I think I like the first one the most, but it's also like it's a time capsule. I remember like feeling the way I did for the first time playing it, seeing the flood for the first time, the way they kind of intro that part, being the age that I was too, and just playing that game. It was just like lightning in a bottle for me, where I just loved that first experience. But yeah,
You read all the books.
I did read a good amount. I mean, they really took off, and there's a bunch now. But
The
like
books are supposed to be good though.
they are. Yeah, I read 3. It was like right before Halo 2 or Halo 3, they had 3 books, and then they really just completely expanded that world. But yeah, no, I loved it, and I loved how deep the world was, and yeah. It's a huge nerd for that.
Still amazing gameplay to this day. You
Oh,
can
yeah.
go back and play multiplayer, Blood Gulch, and still have a blast.
Yep, for sure. Let's see. We got some other news here. What about? I keep saying "what about" as my transition, but I don't know. Like someone's asking me about it. Darksiders. You ever play the Darksiders games?
I've played a little bit of one. I didn't like the gameplay of 1, and I played a fair chunk of 2.
Okay.
None of 3 though.
They never called out to me, but I thought maybe you'd be. I was wondering if you're interested in this, but there is a new Darksiders rumor that they will be revealing some kind of Darksiders entry into the franchise at E3.
I wonder if it's going to be. I mean, because they basically got to get to the final Horseman to finish the series.
Oh, okay.
So,
are you playing like a Hell Horseman, 4 Horsemen kind of thing?
well, it's the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
Gotcha.
And so the first game was War, the second was Death, and the third was I've never played it, so I didn't learn her name. And then the last one I want to say is Strife or something like that. So the first one has a giant sword, second one has 2 little sickles,
Oh, okay.
third one has a whip, and this one has guns, which I don't know how that's going to work.
Interesting. And you play a different character each release? Okay.
And they have different gameplay. So the first one was like, I would describe it as Devil May Cry with a little bit of Zelda. Second one was, maybe God of War with a lot of Zelda. The third one was Dark Souls.
So that's interesting. So there is talk that this will be a new kind of it'll take the franchise in a new direction. So this is from PC Gamer. Andy Chalk writes about Darksiders. This particular panel, there's a panel that they're hosting about Darksiders, and the way it was leaked was in that panel, them laying out their calendar, they revealed the fact that they're going to announce that at E3. But this particular panel is a discussion about the inception of Darksiders universe and where it's headed next. The schedule says this panel will coincide with the E3 2019 unveil of the brand new Darksiders game that takes the franchise in a fresh direction. So whatever that fresh direction means, it will be something different. But yeah, do they shelve that whole build up to the that 4th Horseman you're talking about, or
people would be so pissed?
Interesting. Yeah, is that a deep fan base there with Darksiders where they would be angry, or they would be fine with a reboot? Or
It's one that always surprised me because none of these games have elicited like a strong emotional reaction to me, like with the gameplay or the story or anything. Like, it doesn't excite me. But I go into comment sections when these games are being announced or talked about, and people go nuts. So I guess it's there. I mean, they have enough money to keep making them.
Right. They seem to do well enough to keep putting them out. So
yeah.
All right,
And just these games. I don't think they make anything else.
Interesting. Okay.
Unless they do, and I'm just an asshole.
Yeah. Let's see. There is a title called Baldur's Gate that I never played. There's apparently rumors for a new one, but
People will be excited about that.
I think. Did you ever try Divinity: Original Sin?
No, it's supposed to be great.
Right. So apparently that developer, Larian Studios, their homepage has recently changed. So this is from Adam Bankhurst of IGN. So it now shows a number 3 in gold Roman numerals, hinting that an announcement of Divinity: Original Sin 3 may be imminent.
Oh, that's what I saw. Okay.
Yeah. So, however, there are some signs that point to this actually being the reveal that the studio is working on Baldur's Gate 3 instead. And it goes into heavy detail where that community just like picks apart the like code in that website and just like finds more info pointing to that. But yeah, as the internet does.
Yeah. That's
Uh,
exciting for a lot of. There's a lot of fans of that game. They're supposed to be like, I want to say it's Divinity. I may be thinking of a different game, but I want to say Divinity Original Sin 2 was like, people said it was like the closest you can get to playing D&D in electronic form, really, without
interesting.
like setting up a group online, and that's like a high praise
Yeah, I'm sure.
for some kind of storytelling. So, yeah, it's neat.
We talked, I think, before we started recording about Void Bastards. Have you're interested?
So
have
we
you
blew
tried
through
it?
the news, right?
Oh yeah, that's all the
all right.
news, yeah.
Gonna talk games now.
Yeah. Did you? So you've tried it yet? You're just getting ready to jump in. You know what? I have Game Pass. That's why I played it.
Oh, sorry.
But maybe when you have the PC Game Pass thing, you can do that. But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I played an hour of it.
Yeah, I probably did just a little over an hour of it.
Gotcha.
So similar impressions. I really like that tutorial. I thought that was cool.
Yeah. Did you die? Right?
I don't think you can survive.
Okay, gotcha. I did too, and I was
So-
like, okay, and it looks intentional. You're right, yeah.
Yeah.
But I like that because I'm so like scatterbrained when I'm playing these games where I'm not listening to what they want me to do, and I like the way they made me die. And then also, as I was not building the device they wanted me to build, there's help along the way, like saying, hey, are you trying to build this? You know, here's what you need to find.
Yeah.
Just more reminders on it because I'm so dumb that I was not doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like it so far.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely surprisingly hard.
Yeah.
And the ammo is so sparse. Like, I really do want to avoid combat most of the time, and I guess that's sort of what you're supposed to do.
They say that, but can you? Because every time I get
you can
noticed,
shut doors, and sometimes
Oh, no,
people
you're
just
right.
can't get through them.
Yep, I do that with those enemies with like the blue spikes and stuff that come out.
Oh, yeah.
They're not the janitors. The janitors are like the shorter kids, but there's like those huge ones.
I don't know. I don't have their names memorized
Gotcha.
yet.
But yeah, the huge demon-looking thing. I know I can't fight it, so yeah, I locked the door on that, which I do like that mechanic. That's pretty neat.
Oh, that's called like the lock, I want to say is what they're called.
Okay.
The big ones. I could be wrong. I know it starts with an L. Yeah, super terrifying.
Yep.
I did try and kill that was it the tutorial? Maybe it was just my first run through because he was locked in a room and I could just jump up over a window and shoot him, and then I have to stay down because he fires a lot. So it'd be like jump up, shoot a couple of times, take a wave, jump up.
How long
and
did it take you to kill him, though?
I didn't kill him. I was
'Cause
going to run out of ammo before I got like down to a quarter.
Right, because I noticed, my ammo was not doing anything. Like, you can get shots, but it's like, okay, I just need to run from this guy or do something. Or you can kind of lead him around a corner, loot that room, do whatever you need to do, and then kind of like, continue on in the map. But also those little like blue turds that are walking around, those little like dump blue things.
So annoying.
Yeah, when they explode, it's like no matter how far, I mean, you really have to just jet out of there because they explode and hurt you no matter what.
I definitely like we talked about before the stream, or the cast. The art, the environments are really cool, and it feels like real places. I mean, in that world, at least it really sells that world. They feel different. The variety is really good. I saw in a review for it, they talked about some of the varieties with your characters that you play with their traits, and like one trait was like you're short.
Oh, interesting.
So you're like permanent crouch, but you're moving full speed.
Oh,
Which had its really neat advantages
That's really cool.
and disadvantages. Or like one time you were colorblind, which is a huge disadvantage. Everything was in black and white.
Wow. Now, are those also randomized too? Like,
yes.
Because I like that mechanic of as you die, you get to see the next person they send, to do the same thing you're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had one where the dude that I got after dying, he would yell after picking up an item. It was like a wahoo, but like really loud, so it would alert anyone around you. But I didn't see any benefit
That
to
was
that.
a perk?
Yeah, it was just a thing, a part of them.
That's hilarious.
yeah.
Well, I think you can, I want to say you can re-roll your stat.
Okay.
So if you get something dumb, you can potentially turn it into something cool later.
Gotcha.
Which would be neat too if you can get more stats. So you try and get a bunch of stuff. I don't know. That'd be cool. But
no, I like that mechanic a lot. I like how they're doing that.
yeah.
And then so we talked about because you apparently those abilities are randomly generated, and then the actual ships, it seems like those are procedurally generated.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I haven't got very far to, like, I'm just not building a lot of ammo or whatever items. But yeah.
The only things I don't love so far is I don't love the sort of, I mean, you can kind of do it in one really good run, but the Rogue Legacy style progression system where you're building up a lot of stuff in between where you're just like permanently upgrading your character, which I
Okay.
kind of prefer my roguelikes. Or I mean, I guess it's trying to be something different than just traditional roguelike, but I do prefer it a little more when it's, you should be able to pick up the game the very first time and get it all the way to the end. You have all your abilities. It's just
I see.
your knowledge is what needs to upgrade.
Gotcha.
And your reaction times. And the other thing, which I may have already, it's also got sort of an issue, which is like, in terms of stats wise and upgrades, it feels less like almost like a roguelite in your progression across the universe or whatever, and a bit more like the roguelikeness of like Oregon Trail, because that game was randomized. It was a random adventure, but it was really just sort of resource management, and to me that's not super duper fun.
Gotcha. And I do get the vibe that that's a big aspect of this game is managing your resources, and that being the focus as you jump from ship to ship.
Yeah. That being said, I loved FTL, and FTL was basically Oregon Trail in space. So
I see. I know with the initial trailers of the game, them showing off that mechanic of seeing your inventory and kind of moving through these different like ships and stuff, I got that FTL vibe, but I've never played FTL. But
I don't think you'd like FTL.
We talk about that. Yeah, I'm sure. That's why I kind of like, I avoid it or I don't seek it out, but I'm sure it's awesome.
It is the one game that finally got me into roguelikes or roguelites, because like up until that point I just found dying frustrating. I played a lot of them, and like that game I was really just like, I did get a little bit further that time. I'm going to use that knowledge, and I'll get a little bit, and I get a little bit further, and I get a little bit further, and when I finally beat it I was like, yes, and then I went back and played these other ones, and I'm like, oh, I get it now. Dying is fun.
See, I think that's the epiphany I need to have with this game too. Like, because I've only dipped my toes.
I don't think this is one's gonna do it for you. Though.
Interesting. Okay.
Because like it's like you get a little bit further each time, but that's also because you upgraded yourself.
I see.
Which,
where does Dead Cells play into this? Because that's maybe the only other experience I have with some kind of roguelite.
I would say
game.
Dead Cells is a good example of that, and I definitely got that with that game. I feel like it's a little nicer in terms of measuring your own progress when there's a lot of stages.
Gotcha.
So you're like, okay, I got to stage 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 5. I got onto stage 4, 1. So it's whereas with Dead Cells, there's like 5 total.
Okay.
So you can't measure the increments quite as precisely.
Gotcha.
But it's still very much about your reaction time, and really upgrading the game doesn't upgrade your character that much, and in some ways it can make it worse.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so you can unlock weapons that are shitty.
Gotcha.
And you got to deal with them, which
I see.
I found kind of fun because then you got to improvise with them. But
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only kind of dipped my toes in Dead Cells too, but I do want to I want to go back to Void and just get further and continue playing and try and get it to make more sense in my brain, because it's my first legit attempt at this kind of that roguelike kind of game. What keeps me super interested and engaged with the game is I feel like the writing is really funny. The art style is awesome. It's maybe the most realized comic book kind of game that I've played. Like even the animations too. There's points where I've noticed with the enemies, they kind of, rather than rotate, they change, almost like an old school or original Doom or Castlevania, where they just kind of change.
Yeah, it's using some of the same systems to do that.
Gotcha.
So that was a great choice on their end.
Yeah. No, that's I think that's what's keeping me engaged more, because maybe that gameplay doesn't entice me, or like that traditional roguelike gameplay doesn't entice me, but this art style does, and so it's going to force me to keep playing it, and then it's going to click, and then I'll be all over this. But yeah, I'm still stoked to get. Cool. What also makes it awesome and fun to play is the fact that it's on the Game Pass, so it's free. So I just boot it up and it's ready to go. And there's a ton of other games coming out on Game Pass, so
would have been nice for this one, because I want to say it was like $25.
Okay.
And
Gotcha.
I want to say I just bought something else, and I want to get, was it Into the Wild or whatever?
Oh, Outer Wilds?
Outer Wilds,
Yeah,
which
that comes out
was that
today.
released today?
Yeah.
So
I looked up the Metacritic, and I'm not seeing a whole lot of, but because I guess it just released today. I know IGN had a favorable review for it. But yeah, you're right, and that you're right. That's also
white?
part of the. You're white.
Shit. Covered in privilege.
Yeah. Check your credit score, Gavin. You're white.
I'm gonna cross the street without looking and not get arrested for jaywalking. Check my credit score.
That's one of my favorite white jokes. Is it doesn't bring anyone down. It's only a positive.
Oh,
But it's funny to me. Yeah, so that is on their Game Pass, also the Outer Wilds. But I'm not seeing a whole lot of reviews for it. I know IGN did review it.
And those aren't even. Are those even professional?
No, those are regular ass people.
Yeah, Outer Wilds. What do we got?
So let's look up the reviews. So at 8.4, just right off the bat. I haven't read the review yet, but yeah.
I think with that game, even if that game is like good enough, I bet it's still going to be original enough, neat enough to check it out. I want to say Destructoid threw up a review for it as well.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe I'm wrong. The art style looks cool. I like the looping mechanic. I don't think I've played a looping mechanic game that I didn't like.
Okay.
Because Majora's Mask, I mean, it's really only like two. Majora's Mask and
a 9 out of 10.
Sexy Brutale. Outer Wilds got a 9.
9 out of 10 from Destructoid.
Picture they used.
Yeah, is that not?
Is that
the
from
game?
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles?
No,
What is this
maybe.
shit?
It also looks like from Coming to America or something.
Daisy? I can't
No,
see this.
it's Eddie Murphy though. Is it?
No, that's not Coming to America. That's Oh no. It is.
Oh, the one where he has to spend a bunch of money. No, that's a different.
Well, they swapping places where
Trading
it's like the
places?
rich guy. Yeah, trading places maybe.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's funny. That picture doesn't show up anywhere else.
Yeah.
But yeah.
They did that for like they'll sometimes do that for like a day where they pick like a theme and all the pictures are that.
Oh, okay.
I think I actually finally watched that movie because of Destructoid. I was just like, oh yeah, I wonder if this movie is any good. And it's like, I don't know if it's aged great, but it's actually a really funny movie. Have you seen it?
No.
Oh, it's good.
No, I need to. There's a bunch that like Coming to America. I think I've only watched little bits and pieces of that one, but
I've never seen it.
yeah.
I think I started to watch it with a friend, and then I got to the royal penis is clean scene, and then my buddy's mom was like, "Okay, well, that's enough."
Well, yeah, that'll do it sometimes. Also, like I do remember being a kid, and is it Beverly Hills Cop came out, or
That was
I
a
just
good
remember
one.
watching it as a kid.
That was a good one.
And yeah, that was pretty cool.
Oh,
But,
I'm not thinking of that. I'm thinking of
Kindergarten Cop.
shit. It's not even close. It's that one where Chris Farley was a ninja.
Oh, that's also awesome. It's like American Ninja or something.
Don't-
Is it? I forget what it's called. It might be an American
Beverly
Ninja.
Hills Ninja.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah,
I want to say.
I think that was one of his last movies too.
I think it was the second to last because I know his last one was that one where it's like they were the rivals to Lewis and Clark.
Oh
and
yes,
it's like,
I remember
that wasn't the best one to go out on.
I see. Yeah, Beverly Hills Ninja. You're right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. So is it Almost Heroes? No,
I think it was Almost Heroes.
maybe. Oh yeah, because they're trying to chart the West. Yeah. Okay. So it is Almost Heroes, and then Dirty Work. He's just a character on that movie. But yeah. Cool. So Outer Wilds. Maybe I'll boot that up because it's on the Game Pass thing and give it a shot. It comes out today. But there was another review, or you know what? The other game I think officially came out was today. Was that Halo Portals game? Is it Splitgate?
Is that now on consoles? Because it was out like a week ago on PC.
Was it just early access? I feel like it was actually.
I don't think it was early access on PC.
I see. You know, you're right. May 24th. Okay. I don't know why I was thinking that.
Maybe now it's out on consoles, but
It's not, and they haven't announced a console thing yet. I wonder if maybe at E3, because I feel like that's a game that's a no-brainer for console, right?
yeah, free to play. Get those kitties on there. I don't think it's
Mhm.
terribly violent. I don't even know if it has blood. It may not have blood.
Yeah, you're right.
So
You're right.
yeah, get away. Or if it does have blood, it moves so fast that you don't even see it.
Right.
But
That's a
I
quick.
mean, these characters could legitimately be robots for all we know.
Right. Right. I always thought that that's how you get around any kind of
Yeah.
crazy label. Is that, yeah, just make them robots and everyone's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing a ESRB on Steam, but yeah.
It's because you don't have to get your games reviewed to be on Steam.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I wish they did have like, so when I'd post games on GameJolt, basically they had their own version of the rating system. It just let you rate yourself, and I think that's great because I don't want kids playing my games that shouldn't be playing my games.
Yeah.
They're going to anyway. I had my like nephew at like age 6 or something playing Destroy the Porn, and I'm like, well, at least the writing's not that bad.
Gotcha. Well, though that's trusting you as a developer to to actually properly label it. Like, what's stopping anyone else from being like, I don't care. I'm just gonna give it a super low rating so that anyone can play it.
I think most players or most developers would do that because a lot of
Gotcha.
especially with bigger stuff, like these people have kids, and like
That's true.
there's not that much. Like I don't really know what the advantage is to rating something not what it is, and you could probably direct people more. Like if you're making scary games, like yeah, man, like I'm in the mode for something. Give me something gory.
I see.
Give me something like adult. It allow you to do a lot more.
It's a loud trait. Are people walking into video game stores and going, "Give me something adult, man"? Like I wonder.
I mean, they
who's doing
know.
that.
They know.
I want your special section of
Yeah.
GameStop.
I mean, they may be like, give me something rated adult. Like, sir, no one's made any of those.
Yeah.
I don't even know, like, since we allow, like, so much stuff nowadays, I think the only way you could get an AO rating is if you legitimately had boning in the game. Well, nope, never mind. I take that back. There's a lot of shit on Steam that should be rated AO.
I'm
I
sure.
take it all back. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically sort of what Hollywood did, where they're like, really, the R is now a lot of what the AO used to be, but to be an AO, or not AO, but X, like, you have to go fucking dark.
You got to see,
And I want to say with, what was that movie with, what's his name did? I always say Nicolas Cage, but it's not it.
What was it about?
Is it Nick Cage? No, Nick Cage isn't that the guy from Mortal Kombat?
No.
No, that's Johnny Cage. Nicolas Cage then. Yeah, so Nicolas Cage was in like Bad Lieutenant, which I guess was originally rated X when it released in theaters or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and and then when they released it on well, that's the original Bad Lieutenant. I mean, maybe that was the X-rated one, but I thought it was the re-release of Bad Lieutenant with Nicolas Cage.
Gotcha.
And I think it was rated.
Well, if that's it, he's very
could
naked.
have been rated X too, but I think the new
He's
Bad
naked on the
Lieutenant
box
was X, and then when they released it for DVD, they got it back to R or something like that.
I'm reading the synopsis, and I think this might be the one you're talking about.
Oh, maybe it was just the original was X. Yeah, the new one. I mean, what I saw on the DVD of the new one wasn't that bad,
Gotcha.
but maybe they really toned it back. I don't know.
Yeah, what happens when you bring this to your buddy's mom's house who was upset about that? The last.
'Cause that's enough Eddie Murphy. All right, funny man off the screen.
Yeah. Bring this one over. That reminds me.
I'm sure there's plenty of cleaning of the royal penis in this original edition.
Yeah.
The new one's anything to go by.
There was stuff. There was a news article a couple weeks ago now, but it was like, was it the last Devil May Cry game was slightly censored on the PlayStation version?
Yep.
So I don't know, just this,
At least
we're
in
talking about
America,
censorship and stuff, but yeah,
they
like
added some tasteful lens flare.
right. But in a situation where maybe it didn't need the editing, but it also ties into, I guess Sony is kind of deciding to do this more often now with their games.
Well, you should see the difference between Fire Emblem, the Japanese edition, and Fire Emblem's the American editions, because they add substantial amounts of clothing to characters that were not wearing very much clothing at all.
I see.
So it's
Oy.
what is
this is from Business Insider.
there are titties all over the screen. You can't see it. He's not going to edit it into the video, but there's just titties everywhere.
I can't read it anyways because I'm not subscribed to their whatever thing. But let's look at Kotaku has the same article here. Sony has new stricter guidelines for sexual content on PS4 games. This is from April 16th.
That game looks like it'd be on Steam.
Yeah, it's some anime nonsense going on. So that's just, you can go into detail on that. But yeah, so they're officially making a stance. Hopefully it doesn't get too weird where they're really limiting, but I don't foresee them doing that, as across the board. It's just maybe these overtly ones. But the one they censored wasn't that huge of a weird censor with that, with Devil May Cry. But they are conscious of it and going to look at that going forward. But yep, interesting. Well, Gavin, I'm going to censor you out of this podcast, actually.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, that's really all that happened so far this week. Or are you going to show off?
Oh, this is the other thing. So right there, they mentioned Respawn reveals first details.
Okay.
So they... Oh, did they? I know they were talking about, that was something I saw recently, was like their revenue has dropped like 25% or something. Like that's a big, or like per month And that's,
I imagine.
I imagine that has to happen eventually, right? Like, not everyone can be Fortnite.
Yeah, but I mean, they just launched over the like holiday season. Was it like November, December or something when they launched Apex?
And I don't think
It's
that
pretty
new
soon.
character release really generated any buzz.
Gotcha.
So it's a little concerning, especially when they're like, hey, so we're taking our foot off the gas pedal and also making less money. Like,
Right.
it's a little bit concerning. Whereas you look at, like, to my understanding, Sea of Thieves, which
Yeah.
launched and then blew up, and then they're like, all right, so we're just hiring a team to actually work on this game now. Like,
Gotcha.
let's up those numbers so we can. I think the announcements for Thieves at E3, it's tough to tell because of the pacing of their updates, but I could see there being like a huge announcement. But I could also see there not being because
you think just like further DLC stuff coming down the line or different
just the content in general for this
gotcha.
game. It needs.
For
I mean,
Sea of
it's always
Thieves.
needed more stuff to do, and it's certainly with that recent like PvP map, which people loved. 'Cause it was
okay.
goofy to watch those matches.
That was in Sea of Thieves, right? Was it like an arena kind of thing?
Yeah, it was like an arena, and you're all trying to gather as much loot as you can and bring it back to like loot boats.
Okay.
But you can fire yourself out of cannons super far, and then once you hit the water, you move super quick for like a couple of seconds. So people are just like launching themselves all over the map. Like, it was some swashbuckling action and just goofy. You see one person like 1v5 a whole team.
Nice.
Like, it was so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a game that's really kind of improved over time and just kind of come into its own.
Yeah.
I think that's, I mean, it's a tangent you could make, further, but like with these online games where they're focused on the new content that comes in and the replayability, I feel like I always mentally give them more time to figure themselves out. Like, I'm not concerned about it not working on day one or the content at day one, people going through that quickly. It's like, it's supposed to develop legs over time. That's really their goal. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I know I like mentally kind of give them time, but it seems like the reaction from fans, from players, they don't go that route. It's just the kind of, are you working now? Is there something to do now? Okay. If not, I'm bouncing to the next game. And do they come back? I'm not sure.
Well, I think that was just one that was sort of weird because it sounds like Rare wasn't really at staff capacity for that game to take off like it did. So when it did, they're like, well, shit.
Gotcha.
We got to upgrade this sucker, and we're going to need more people. So
Yeah. Well, that's good. They're giving them more of a staff. And
yeah, to my understanding.
Gotcha. Well, I think with Microsoft for sure, with them acquiring those first party studios, as I'm reading too, they're really putting a focus on just really putting the gas on all these teams to just put out what they can and gearing up for this next generation to have all these awesome exclusives and whatnot. So yeah, I could see them increasing that budget at the least,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as far as video games, that was really it. It was a kind of a lot of big stuff to happen this week, but it happened all after we recorded. But yeah.
Also, we got to play some Extermination, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, we played some. I'll upload this very soon, and it's a fun game. I liked playing it.
That was a lot.
It was
of
pretty
fun.
dope.
It was definitely nice too, because on some of the stages, like, I would struggle and you would do better, or you would struggle and I would do better. So we sort of counterbalanced each other, which is like the perfect kind of co-op thing, where it's just somebody's covering somebody's weakness, and together we pull through, and it feels like an actual team effort, which is fun. So.
It was chaotic at times where you just can't see I wish I could see my character a bit more out of all the chaos.
Yeah.
And that added to the frustration where I'm looking what I think as my character, but it's really yours. And I feel like I'm doing the same things too, but it's like, oh, nope, that's you, and I'm dead.
Yeah.
But it is really fun.
Yeah. And it was definitely, when I watched the initial trailer, I mentioned this the other night, it was like, I kind of wish it was prettier, but then when I'm playing it, I'm like, man, I'm glad everything is so clear. I can see everything. It's very simple, but it's very clear. So
Gotcha. No, yeah, and the art style is awesome too.
Yeah, it's really good.
All right, Gavin, that's it for our episode today, I think.
All right. Tell them where they can find you, Fonzie, on the Twitter mobile.
They can find myself on Twitter at FonziePants. And then we have a Twitter for our page for Plastic Hearts as well. It's just Plastic Heart Pod, also on Twitter. We have an Instagram now, Gavin.
Do we?
Yep, we do.
So I'm a proper Instagram model.
You are, yeah. So I'll need some nudes from you. I mean, I already have them on my phone. I'll just make sure and upload them.
Yeah,
just taking that as an approval. But we have an Instagram. It's just at Plastic Hearts on Instagram. Moving on up, Gavin.
All right.
Getting the things.
And you can find me at Drunk Devs on Twitter.
Yes. Oh, we should create a MySpace account.
Yes.
Alrighty. See you guys. Bye-bye.